Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? OCD Mikey Hi-Fi Guy here for another live stream, live comments, live action, coming live to you from Atlanta, Georgia. Mikey, right here for you. And got some things to talk about today. I forgot to put up my little teaser video, so you didn't know it was happening today. But that's okay. That is quite all right. I got a couple of things that I want to talk about today. And I just drank all my water. So now it's time for where is it? 0-0. Look at that. No alcohol. Um, this is all right, but I'll tell you still, I think my favorite, I've got two favorites. What was the one that I really liked a lot is the Corona in a can, man. That one's tasty. This thing still tastes a little bit like skunky, a little bit like, imports do many times. Okay, so a couple things that we're going to talk about. Let's first say hi to Tommy Clark. Hey, y'all, just leaving work. Psyched to listen on the drive home. Right on, T. Hey, Andy, Mikey from Iowa. How's my favorite hauler, my tanker man? Nick Sardone, let's get the party started. You know it, buddy. Welcome. Look at that, man. We got all fancy big faces. Everybody needs to put your face on there so we can see your face. That's cool. How about the NA from Oregon? Oh yeah, that was good, man. That was good. Thanks for sending that. That was definitely. I need to find more of that stuff. I really did like that, actually. Pilsner. It's hard. And what is this one? Brewed with Saaz hops. Maybe that's what. And all malt brewed. Maybe that's what tastes weird about it. It's got that weird. It's like foamy, right? It gets like really foamy in the mouth. Not sure I really dig it. And it's a little sour, a little bit sour there. Hey Dan, what's up, man? Welcome. That's that the Hulk? See, what does it say? Jim 70 what? 30% Jim, 70% Dift. What is that? 70, 89, 100 something percent, 100% beast. Is that it? Is that it? I can't figure out, Dan. Are you a bodybuilder? I've got a couple bodybuilder clients, one in Los Angeles. I talk to him every once in a while. He's a good guy, man. Anyways, what I'm going to talk about is a couple. Okay, so I did a video a couple nights ago, and it was about the new the AGD Alto 2, a phenomenal DAC, $8,000. And I got people complaining about the fucking remote. One guy complained about the power cord. And it's like, it's what first of all, it's stupid to talk about anything other than the actual piece of gear. Okay. Ryan Ship, if you're watching, he's a bodybuilder too. He's just a fitness guy. Ryan, you can get on here because I erased your thing because it was a full troll. Okay, what they're talking about is how could you put a an Apple remote with the unit? Okay, it's an $8,000 piece. First of all, an $8,000 piece is a cheap DAC. Okay, a $1,000 DAC is not even in the. We're not even I won't even talk about those. So to me, $8,000 is an inexpensive DAC. It's not an expensive DAC. People are acting like it's a $50,000 DAC. Okay. Let me go through some of the remotes so we can see. This Audio Arrow was from back in the day. It was the best CD player. And you'd get DACs like this. This is a $15,000 DAC. It's totally plastic. I can do the little AMSR shit where they put their damn fingernails on everything. That's the grossest shit I've ever seen. Drives me up a wall. Just weird. Number buttons. What the hell are number buttons for? Has anybody ever used a freaking number button on a piece of audio gear? I don't even know why they're there. You know why they're there is because these are universal remotes that they put a sticker on. You can see this bubble. That's a sticker. So they get this remote control from a supplier that supplies them for anything made in Korea. And I know the unit isn't made in Korea. It was made in France. So They're buying these things, they're putting their sticker on them, and they're programming for their unit. So that's all you're really going to get is for most gear is stuff like that. Okay. So, here's another one. Okay. It's like a chunk. This thing is so heavy. It's a chunk of metal, volume up and down and mute. Okay. You can't even control input. You can't even do all it is a volume control, and it's heavy as shit. Okay. Is this what you guys want? Is this what should be in with an $8,000 DAC? Just a big chunk of aluminum? Is that what you want? A brick? Is that what makes it worth more? Is by having things be heavy? Then there's this kind, which you find these are cheap Chinese piece of shit remotes. Okay, they all have these little bubble, metal bubble things that you press them down. See if I can. We can hear it. It's got a little push button thing. And these are the cheapest possible remotes. These are all made in China, and it's a junky ass remote, and it serves no purpose for being this big. It's got 8 buttons on it, but it's still big, maybe because it uses giant AA batteries or whatever. Okay, here's a Rockna. This is from a $15,000 DAC. Okay, now they made the metal weird shapes so that it looks unique. It now looks like a, I don't know what does it look like in this shape? A microphone. Hey, everybody, yeah. Or something else with a head on it, So whatever. And again, it's got the freaking numbers. What do you want the numbers for? We're never going to use the damn numbers. And look what happens. Look, there's the batteries. This is what happens with these remotes. Crustified batteries, from a $15,000 DAC. Still, what does it have? Forward, stop, volume, mute. What do you really need on a DAC? You need volume and input and mute and maybe phase. And see if this one even has phase. It doesn't even, the Rockna doesn't have a phase on it. But maybe you can go into the menu and change phase or whatever. Okay. Here is the Playback Designs DAC. Okay. This is very elegant. This one is custom made, clearly. Okay. But it still has numbers, which I never fucking use. Okay. And what else does it have on it that I never use? I use volume up, volume down, layer, time. Like that's nothing. The forward arrow, and then phase. This one has phase. This one has dim. So you can dim the readout. And then this thing controls a DAC or a player or a preamp, which is funny because there is no preamp by Playback Designs. But this is a very nice one. This is what you get with a $26,000 DAC. Okay. And here's what comes with Alberto's DAC. It's sweet. This thing does everything all those other DACs do. It does it in a much smaller, more elegant solution. It's light. You just use one thumb to move it around. You don't have to sit and look in the dark for which buttons do what. It's extremely intuitive. This is a concave little thumb, so you can just feel it in the dark. You know where the nomenclature, you don't need to see nomenclature. You can just press it with your finger. So this is an absolute elegant solution. It completely controls the DAC in every way we want. It's aluminum. See, it doesn't even have that shitty ass plasticky sound. It doesn't have rattly freaking buttons that are loose in there. It's an elegant freaking solution. So people are complaining, what I say is these are guys that aren't buyers. I challenge any real buyer to say that they're unhappy with this. What happens is you put something out there and you say how great it is, and then people want to shit on it because they can't buy it or they don't want to. I say they can't afford it. I say it's more expensive than they can afford. So they like to shit on stuff that they're not going to buy. So that's what they choose. And it's like, it's the stupidest argument to say this is a fucking genius remote. I like it better than any of the remote. I like it better than my fucking Playback remote. If I could use this on my Playback Designs, I would use it every single fucking time. You know how many times this falls on the floor and makes the hugest clunking noise, clunk? It's just this is the nicest remote I have, but I'd still rather use this. It's just much more elegant, much easier to use. It's lighter, it's thinner. It's just like you can use it in one hand, no problem. I don't need to look at it to see which button. When I hold this one, I need to look. Where is oh yeah, there it is, to find the buttons. So it's a silly thing to complain about. It's a very silly thing to complain about is the remote control. As long as it's not a plastic thing, this is aluminum. As long as it's not some real junky, cheap plastic. I know some remotes on some things, man, you should have seen the one that used to come with the Exogal Comet. Oh my God, it was seriously Fisher Price level. It was ridiculous. Now, granted, that was a $3,500 deck at the time, I think. So maybe it was $5. I can't even remember. But it wasn't. It still it was ridiculous. It was really a cheap deck, a cheap remote. So really, what do you use remote for? You use it for volume up, volume down, source select, and mute, and maybe phase. And you can do all this stuff with this elegant solution. So I think it's actually stupid for people to say, oh, I want this. Give me a big clunky ass old fucking brick, with my unit. It's ridiculous. So pick something better to complain about, man. Pick something better. Increase your intelligence level. Don't complain about elegant solutions because they're inexpensive and made by Apple. This is because they probably make these things 500,000 pieces at a time. It's the only way you can get them for the price you get them for. So that's all I have to say about that. And the power cord is so funny. I mean, nobody even Playback Designs uses a $1 power cord that comes with the DAC because they don't care. They're not even trying to give you a power cord. They're basically saying we don't supply a power cord, and they give you a piece of shit molded one as a frickin' just in case you don't have a cord. This will turn the unit on, but they don't intend for you to use the cord at all. With AGD, he gives you a very nice made power cord, and it's 5 foot long. It's easily a $300 power cord. If I was selling those, they'd be $300. I know how to price cables. I make cables, or my company does. I don't really anymore, but I know cable design front to back. So they are. It's goofy to joke about that. I got a real kick out of it. And I thought, Jesus. And the funny part is they're not the buyers. I'm going to read through a couple more of these, and then I'm going to go on to my next subject. Okay. Andy's out in the barn working and listening to you tonight. That's cool, man. You're with the horses? Diet. What's diet? You're you work on diet? Is that what that is? That's a pic of that's what diet does? Oh, is that what it says? 100%? No, it doesn't say 100% diet. Oh, 70% diet. Okay. 30% gym, 70% diet, and then what? 100% beast. Is that what it is? Sweet, man. Hey, everybody. Yeah, Mikey and Tri. Big hugs from Kenny and Deborah Lee down under. Have a great show, man. Cheers, you all. Have a great show. I don't know. What are you guys going to sleep yet? If you guys catch the show, that means it's, what is it, 3 a.m. there? Or no, you're not 6. How you're way ahead, right? Is it? I don't even know what time it is there. It's late or early. I had the same Apple remote with my old MyTech Manhattan DAC and preamp. It was originally like 6 or 7K retail too. Yeah, it's a great solution for people. Love the AA DAC remote. Trying to remember what that one looks like. Yeah, that's a nice, it's kind of like similar to maybe one of these, but more not so, Battlestar Galactica. Looks like Count Dracula's coffin. Totally, man. That's exactly what it is. A Dracula. Andrew Swift. And welcome, by the way, Joseph Siebel, Joey Be Good, hailing from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Good to see you join the group, man. We got a handful of Scotty guys, actually. Hey, Mikey, out in the barn with a Rocky Patel, Connecticut. There you go, man. I can't say that I like Rocky Patel cigars, but I hope you enjoy it. I got some Connecticut leaves the other day. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, no, it's out there. Oh, I think it's a Connecticut wrapper. It was horrible. It was gross, man. I have to start putting up my cigar reviews. Bitching about using an Apple remote is silly. Who cares? It's a remote. Exactly. And it makes everything function fine. And there's so many functions on the DAC itself that it's just the stupidest thing. What's the difference sound-wise between 2 AGD pre-DACs, Alto, and Andante? Andante is the higher level. So Andante is they took the alto and then they decided, let's go farther and make something more expensive for people that want something more expensive. So they made something for 13 grand instead of 8 grand. And the sound wise, you said, oh, I don't know. I have them both here. I can compare it and I'll let you know. But offhand, I can see if it's a big difference or not. I don't know if it is a big difference. Our Solnote audio remote controls quality from Japan. It looks like something high-end Bang & Olufsen, and we have 2 of those beauties because our A2 are in mono mode. Gorgeous remotes. Cool. Yeah. I really like the Apple remote with my old DAC. Super easy to use. The only issue I ever had was sometimes I'd fall asleep listening with a blanket on. I'd struggle to find it. Yeah, because it is little. I know you're not a Rocky Patel guy, but I'm testing all waters. Good for you, man, because you may have a different taste than I do. So far, I'm enjoying it. Not my favorite, but I like it. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, because a couple people sent me links to it. And I don't know if you guys have seen this. So you guys know this company, OMA, right? Oswald Mill Audio. Got Jonathan, I think is the guy's name. And I've never met him. So if Jonathan's watching, what's up, dude? He goes into this litany of things, but basically the gist of the video, and again, I'm responding to it because people send me material and say, Mikey, what do you think of this? And they want me to give them comments. So he evidently he is selling to billionaires. Okay, so first of all, he comes on and the title is Buying Guide for Billionaires or something like that. Okay, so the first thing that's ridiculous. Billionaires don't watch fucking YouTube to get information, bro. They just don't. They don't have time for that shit. It's way stupid for them. It's beneath them. They don't do that shit, bro. They have chore boys that go out and do all that shit for them, do all their fact finding, do all their stuff. They have people that they trust, that they entrust all the research for products, for things. You take care of it and just tell me what I need. And they trust the people, okay, which I would do too. Why would I want to bother with peasants, selling stupid audiophile gear? And I think this guy has delusions of grandeur that billionaires want to work with him. They don't want to work with you, bro. They want to send their chore boy to work with you. You're only ever going to work with the servant. You're not going to work with a billionaire. He doesn't want to bother with that shit. He doesn't want to hear your freaking sales pitch and how passionate you are about the audio because he doesn't give a shit. Okay. These are products that are bought for show. They're products that are bought to be shown off and have curb appeal. Right. He's complaining because in this video, his complaint is that the billionaire sent a middleman, okay, i.e. a systems integrator. So this is the guy who in the house, in the billionaire's homes, this guy handles all the AV shit, right? He's the AV expert that this guy consults with. And this guy then goes out and finds the gear, right? So the billionaire says to him, I want something big and grandiose for in here in the living room, go find me something, I think and maybe he knows of Oswald's Mill, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. So the systems integrator comes back to this guy who is a manufacturer, and he says, "Hey, I think my billionaire guy may want to buy some of this. So I'm thinking we're gonna pitch it to him, and I'm gonna sell it into this deal. What's my cut?" Okay. Now, under normal circumstances, as a manufacturer like Jonathan is, you cut the seller in, period. Okay, whether it's a dealer, whether it's a systems integrator, whether it's a homeboy with a friend, you cut that mofo in because he's bringing you business, period. He's bringing you you don't have that stupid connection. You're not there. You don't have the connection. The systems integrator has the connection. Okay, so he got all huffy puffy with the systems integrator and said, no, I'm not going to sell it to you with any margin. You're going to have to pay full price. And because, you don't work hard enough or you don't know about audio, you're just a Nimrod middleman. So you don't deserve any cut, So the guy says, all right, we'll think about it. And then he goes away and he comes back and says, look, we're off the program. I'm buying Magico. Okay. Because Magico's giving me a fucking margin. Hello.
Magico's a normal business company that would give a margin to somebody bringing them business. That's just normal course of how you do shit. Okay. And so this guy's pretending he's from fucking New York, man. The guy lives in Manhattan. He knows about the game. He knows you have to grease hands to get business. And he's acting like he doesn't need to pay the middleman anything for bringing him the big balls buyer. Stupid guy. And then so now he's whining about it and complaining because the guy didn't buy from him, because Jonathan didn't give him a margin. And he's actually makes a video complaining about it after telling us, yeah, I give normal dealers margin, but this guy's just a middleman tool chore boy, so I don't think he deserves any money for it, so I'm going to keep it for myself. So there's many things wrong with that. Okay, what it means is now the manufacturer's double dipping. Not only is he taking his wholesale profit, which is double whatever he makes it for, he doubles it at least and sells it at wholesale. And then that he sells it to a dealer at wholesale, and then the dealer marks it up, he doubles it, and then it goes to the end user. Okay. A billionaire doesn't give a shit if the middleman makes 200 grand on it. This guy farts and 200 grand falls out his ass, bro. So he doesn't care if the middleman, in fact, he wants the middleman to make $200,000 because then the middleman's going to find him good shit and going to take care of him because he gets paid well for doing that. Okay. So he's online complaining about it, and he just goes into this whole litany. I could do a response video about it and watch it, do a reaction video. I don't think I want to get into the business of reaction videos, but I'm sitting here. I left a long response. I'm like, the first problem is you're double dipping. Okay. That's the first, because he's calling this middleman, the systems integrator, he's calling him a crook. And I'm like, he said, he just wants to line his pockets with money. I'm like, well, I think you just want to line your pockets with money. That's why you're not paying any commission to someone that brings you a big balls buyer. So he's complaining and crying, and then he's saying that systems integration is stupid because a remote might break, and then who do you call? And then blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. Well, the systems integrator that works for a billionaire comes 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, whenever the hell that billionaire wants him to come. The guy gets on a fucking helicopter if he needs to, and he comes over to the billionaire's house. That's how that shit works. Okay. But he's sitting there complaining about all this stuff. He's crying because he didn't make a sale because he got too fucking arrogant and he didn't make the sale. Okay. Which is just bad optics. The video is not going to age well, in my opinion. Again, all of this is my opinion. I could be full of shit. I could not know what the hell I'm talking about, but this is how I see things. So I thought, and two different people sent me the thing to read, and I'm like, oh my God, what a horrible video. And then you look in the comments and people are like, oh, you're so right. Oh my God, you're so honorable. I'm like, dude, are you that under the ether that you can't see this guy's crying because he didn't get the hustle that somebody else got, that Magico got the hustle, and then he's talking about, hi-fi gear being completely overpriced and too overpriced. I'm like, he's got plywood boxes that look like, giant horn things made out of plywood behind him. I'm like, I wonder how much those are. They're fucking plywood boxes that are stained plywood. If they're anything more than that, somebody please tell me. But it's like, I'll bet they're 100 grand. Maybe they're not, but I'll bet you they're ridiculously priced. They have to be marked up twice if he's got a dealer network. So here's the guy complaining about it. And then he tells in the end, billionaires, please just call me direct. I'm like, oh my God, you're groveling on YouTube for fucking billionaires? Dude, this is not where you grovel for billionaires, bro. Get off your fucking ass and go to Monaco and meet some people. Holy shit. So he's sitting in New York in his chair complaining, and it's just, it's ridiculous. So yeah, people wanted my response to that. So there's my response to that. I just think it's funny. It's gaslighting people, trying to pretend like you don't know the game when you're a total hustler from New York. And you build sculpture that is functional. The audio industry doesn't even accept him. He doesn't come to any shows. He's not even accepted by the audio industry because he's an artist, man. And his stuff is very interesting looking. And I commend him. You know how I learned about him? I saw the company in the Robb Report. Okay. So that's kind of the first clue about where the company it comes from. It's an image thing, right? That's what rich people. So what I see is the guy has marketed himself into a high level where it's gotten away from him. Now the level is too high. He deals with chore boys. He doesn't even deal with the end user. He deals with the middlemen, and he's just a servant, and he doesn't like it. And he's complaining because he didn't grease the wheels and he didn't get the sale. It's just like so silly. Um, Anyways, I'm not saying I'm a better person. I'm not saying anything like I'm smarter or anything like that. His company is far more successful than mine have ever been. But to go online and complain about not getting a sale from a billionaire and then tell billionaires to contact me direct on YouTube, it's like, oh my God, this is a horrible optics, dude. You look really desperate, brother. You don't need to do that. If you want to maintain your image as a high level billionaire fodder, your candy for billionaires, then don't come on YouTube and complain about it, bro. It's bad optics. You just look weak when you do that, man. Strong guys they don't fucking care. They slug off $1 million deals and are just like, whatever, I'll get the next one. They don't worry about it. But he's clearly upset about it and concerned about it, trying to throw the middleman under the bus and say that billionaires don't need management people to handle their affairs, which that's never going to fly. You're never going to convince a billionaire to go figure out audio on his own, man. He's not going to do it. He's going to hire an expert to do it for him. So anyways, enough said about that. If anybody has any comments, go ahead and comment. Tell me what you guys think about it, because maybe some of you guys read that or saw that, and I'd like to hear some feedback. Let me see here. The next one, Matt Myers. Do you recommend any American-made horn speaker companies? American-made. Are there any? Charney Audio, maybe, but I'm not into single driver type deals. That's a back folded horn. There's another guy. What's his name? The guy that makes the really cool drivers. I can see his card in my head. Oh man, you guys help me out here. The guy that makes the drivers in California, the really cool field coil drivers. I think he does back folded horns. Usually the horns in America are kind of DIY. Is Edgar Horn even, is that a United States thing? Typically when I think of horns, I think of German speakers, I think of avant-garde, American horns. I can't really. Yeah. I've got some horns. If you want some horns, I've got 2 different horn speakers from Horns of Poland here that I will offer them out at half price, because, I don't know that I'm going to get into carrying horn speakers. Horn speakers are best with like 200 Bs and 2 A3s, i.e. the tweaky part of the audiophile, thing, like the real tweaky shit. I don't know that I am going to aim my rocket at that part of the market. I am going a different way. So I have bought these speakers and they're great, but I don't think I'm going to start selling 300 Bs and horn speakers, and all that shit. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to avoid it. So, Matt, if you want some cool speakers, they're made in Poland. They're really killer, and you get a freaking crazy value. Both pairs would be under 10 grand. Kenny, it's Thursday, the 25th at 10:45 a.m. Isn't that wild? So it's 10:45 tomorrow. Yeah, that's pretty far ahead. It's a better remote than the Daniel Hertz. Dave says that because Daniel Hertz does not have a remote. You use your phone, and you're going to see more and more companies doing that. So you guys are complaining about getting this. Well, guess what? Eventually you're going to get nothing. It's going to be this. This is going to be your fucking remote, your telephone. So how do you like them apples? What may change the pace of music from night to night? I can listen to the same track on different days, and the pace of the track is different. It is your brain. Typically, that's going to be a change in body chemistry, a change in brain chemistry. You're perceiving it at a different speed. It is the same speed. It's not. I mean, music sounds better at night typically, and you can get into it. But I know sometimes you listen to you say something's off, something's weird, something's wrong. When that happens, I figure it's in my own head. I'm like, okay, I'm not in the right proper state of mind. That's how I think. And it could be, it could be the waves from the aliens. Maybe they're beaming waves into your. Maybe Andre, the nuclear generator in Oakland is fired up, and it's like, who knows, sending waves through the air, and it's warping the time space continuum. Bravo, Max. Volti Audio. That guy's been around a good time. Yep, Volti is basically high-end Klipsch. It's almost like he took the Klipsch design and then turned them into high-end things. So Volti Audio is an American-made horn speaker. Thanks a lot, Max. That was a good looking out. Oddly enough, I've got avant-gardes. Your avant-gardes are fucking great, dude. I mean, which ones do you have? Rocky, how are you? Hey, Mikey, have you heard of Volti? Yeah, he just said it. I have. Very interesting horn speaker similar to Klipsch. Look at that. You're saying it right there, but much better. Exactly. High-end Klipsch. That's what, when I see Volti, if I'm going to put it in one sentence, it's high-end Klipsch. Joseph Crow, USA horn speakers, pretty cool. Actually, way cool. Okay, awesome. That's a new one. I may have heard of that guy. I can't remember. Typically, the horn speakers will come from cabinet makers or wood makers because they know how to make these Tactrix horns, and they can do some beautiful woodwork. And then they end up, making cabinets. A lot of speaker companies came from cabinet makers, or like, they started out as a cabinet maker, and all of a sudden they started making speakers because they know how to make boxes and they know how to make them well. So it's wild. Were I thinking of triangle art horns? Ooh, nope. I won't comment anymore. What puts an audio product in the DIY category? If you have to assemble it. Sometimes people will say something looks DIY, meaning it looks like you assembled it at home, but DIY means do it yourself. So typically it's a DIY category if it is a kit that you build. And then sometimes looks, aesthetic will be referred to as DIY. It looks DIY. If you say, oh, that really looks DIY, or it's kind of DIY-ish, it means you're commenting on how rudimentary the build is, how immature kind of the build is. It doesn't, it's like flat pieces of metal screwed together for the chassis, rather than machined billet or whatever, that looks kind of DIY because anybody can make a box out of, plate metal. Sasikanth, what is the difference between the 570 and the 570M? 570 has side firing woofers. The M has forward firing woofers. So you can have them on the sides. You can have them on the front. I prefer them on the front all the time because they don't interact with sidewalls. So I always like my woofers on the front. Avant-garde solos, criminally underrated and affordable speakers. Yes. Have you seen what the criminally underrated and affordable is the what are those things called? The butterfly. What do they call them? What is a butterfly called in another? Not the Schmetterling, but the oh man, in Spanish, what is butterfly? Mariposa? No, that's not what they're called. Whatever they are, the little ones, man, the little ones that hang on the walls, the new little avant-gardes are killer, man. They're crazy. They rock hard, and they're like really inexpensive. Can't remember what they're called, but Avant-Garde's a great brand, man. I really like Avant-Garde. Hey, Angie, did you see the new Multistrada V4 RS comes with dry clutch? Oh, don't tell me that, dude. That sucks. I'd love to put a dry clutch on my bike, but it's like $3,000, $3,500 for the parts. Check this out, Andrew. I bought some shit from CNC Racing out of Italy the other day. I bought a steering damper mount kit. It's just a couple little aluminum pieces, right? €242 for that shit from Italy. They sent it immediately. I got it in like 3 days with $140 import duty tax, bro, on a $240 thing. Remember, we used to pay zero pretty much on everything, but you absolutely paid zero on anything $800 or less. There was no import duty tax. Now I bought something for €240, maybe it's 300 US, and it was $150 $150 fee tariff. Hey Peach, it's Mikey. I'm on the live stream right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, you want to say anything to the people?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You guys, everybody having fun. Mikey's loving it. See, I call Mikey because he knows all this electronic stuff. Making my guitar pedal. Can you answer a question for me?
Yeah.
Real quick?
Yes.
All right. So I'm doing the guitar pedal board, and it says between 4 and 9 volts.
Yep.
You know, there's a little dip switch.
Yep.
And it's not set to 4 and 9. Will it just take what it needs? Or should I set it to 9?
Inside the pedal?
No, on power board, on the power pack.
The output?
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to either output 4 or it's going to output 9. You want 9, I think, for your pedal.
Right. So if I put it to 4 or 9, will it take what it needs, or should I click it to the 9?
No, you need to click it to the 9. It's a variable output with a switch.
Right. It says 4 to 9 up top on the dip switch up, and then I don't know why it says 4 to 9, but and then 9 down below.
Oh, okay. So that's weird. So on the output,
yeah.
Maybe it is automated. Maybe it's a smart enough to know. No, but it wouldn't be 4 to 9. That's usually typically an input type thing where it says I can take 4 to. I would put it on 9. Just leave it on 9.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Hokey doke.
Hokey dokey, then there.
Enjoy yourself and buy yourself some Fisher and Fisher speakers.
All right, buddy.
My faves.
Yeah, man. Okay. See you, buddy.
One day. Okay, love you, man.
Love you too. Okay, bye. Okay, that's my little bro calling to get advice on his guitar pedal. Okay, so did the V4? Yeah, I know, man. Dry clutch is sweet, but V4 Ducati, multi, dude. I rode the multi. It was like fucking riding the big V4 multi is like riding a couch, bro. The new one might be better, and it probably is. But dude, the more modern Ducatis get, the more less like Ducati they are. They're non-Desmo. They're making smart decisions because they're low maintenance and all that shit. But that's what was great about Ducati was that it was high maintenance, so nobody wanted it. So you were special when you had a Ducati because you were the motherfucker that was willing to do valve jobs yourself or valve adjustments yourself, you know? But now, since all the squids want them and all this shit, they're making them mainstream. They're turning them into Japanese bikes, bro. That's how I look at it. Now, I'm not saying it's not a great bike. It's probably phenomenal. And I love dry clutch. But, dude, yeah, so we'll see. Hey, Marky, High Tribe Clark. Marky, High Tribe Clark, checking in from Oahu. What's up, brother? Roy asks, what watch am I wearing? I'm wearing a JLC Reverso. Gégé Lecoute Reverso day date. I can't. Can I try to get a good one on it? It's upside down. But anyways, it's a Reverso with a cool band. I added that band on just to match the blue in my shirt. That's what a Metro I am. That I match my watches to my outfit, man. I got all sorts. It came with a black alligator, but it's my first Reverso. I dig it, man. It's actually, I don't know, man. I didn't think I was going to like dress watches, but this thing, I freaking love this thing. It's awesome. And I've got my eye on my Blancpain. My Blancpain's coming tomorrow. I'm going to purchase a Blancpain. Bathy Scaff, 50 fathoms. Yeah, dry clutch conversions are mad cash. They are, brother. And I love them. They're so cool. Holy shit, that's crazy. I know. $140. I was like, oh my God, I almost sent it back. I was almost like, look, send it back. I'm going to decline this thing. And then I'm like, dude, then I'm not going to have a steering damper. And CNC machining is the only one that makes the damper that goes under the triple, it like stashed away. The other one is this big contraption that goes on top of the fuel tank bolts that hold the fuel tank lid on. You bolt an arm to there, and then this arm goes over to the freaking thing that's on your handlebars. And it's like, and I have bar risers, so it's not going to fit anyways. And it's just this big, ugly contraption on top of your tank. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So it was the only one so I just paid the damn $140 and went, okay, note to self, don't buy shit from Italy anymore. Oswald Mill does High Horns USA and Fleetwood Sound as well. That's right. Yeah. I like what Crow is up to best. Cool. Okay. So I'll take it that you follow horn thing. Let me know how that steering damper works. I will. I'm sure it's going to totally. I just bought the Olin's piece for it today. It's the black line, you know, so it's all black and gold and cool looking, whatever. That thing's freaking $450. So I'm in 750, 550, 650, 750, 850, I'm $900 in for steering damper, dude. Can you imagine that? $900 for a little ass. The steering damper is a universal one, you know, and then a kit. It's ridiculous. I can't even imagine everything, dude. Look at the monoblock piston brakes, you know, the Brembos and shit like that. They're all freaking thousands of dollars. I've seen like $3,000 calipers. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. Agreed on Ducati losing its spirit. Totally, dude. It's losing its spirit. It's turning into an everyman's bike. It is a phenomenal bike, but look, so is a Japanese bike. You know, a freaking R1 is a sick bike, but I just don't want that. I just don't want it. You know, I want something different, something with character, something that others people don't have. The one thing. So now it's like, what do I got to get? A Bimota, you know, to you know, be the different guy? No, maybe an Aprilia. Aprilia is really it. So you're on point with your Aprilia. Corporatization, absolutely corporatization. Oh, nice. You got the JLC. Yes, I did, man. It is a reverso day date. So let me take it off and then you can see. And I bought the strap from this place. It's called I'll have to find out. It's a German made strap. They were not expensive either, man. It's German. It's this one I think is Nubuck. But here, see if we can get a close up on it. Look at that. Look at that beauty, bro. The day is up there. The date is on that little red arrow points to the date. We got the small seconds in the center that you can see ticking away. And it's got the solid back. So you people that don't know watches, don't know what this is. This flips like that, and then it goes like this. This is a polo watch. That's why this was designed. This is a very old design and classic. And you do this when you're playing polo because everybody wants to wear their JLC while they're playing polo, I suppose. But it protects it. So if you're ever doing anything where you need protection, you flip that puppy around. Or if you don't want to flash, you can just wear it like that. And it's just, you know, and then when you want to flip it back. And then other ones have, they have dual date. You flip it like that, and it's a different time zone for if you're traveling. And then you just take it, push it to the side, flip it over, and press it back in. And then there you go. Made in Switzerland. Great history on watch. Anybody who's a watch collector totally knows this brand, totally knows this model. And they are they're sought after by collectors. That's all there is to it. It's a watch guy's watch. Rolex. I'm gonna say it. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Every dildo that doesn't know shit about watches gets a Rolex. That's why I don't wear them. And I tried to. And Rolex is a great freaking watch. Don't get me wrong. They're freaking great. I just bought them. I wore it, and I'm like, I just don't vibe with Rolex, man. It's just not Mikey. Mikey is unique and different. It's just not my vibe. This is Mikey vibe. You know, just like the audio. The strap, I'll have to tell you, man. I'll have to tell you, it wasn't that much. I think this thing was like an $89 strap. Maybe it was even $49. And it's nice nubuck, man. I made sure it has quick releases. I made sure to not get one that was Chinese. These are German made. I want to find a Milanese metal, a Milanese stainless steel, like a link. You know, what do they call that? They call one of it's called like a can't remember the name of it, but there's some cool metal links that are fine mesh metal. So what watch do you match with your sound has size shirt? That I don't know, man. That one has a lot of colors in it. It could be anything. Typically, if I'm wearing black, I wear the Cartier, but because it has a black strap and a black face, but the Cartier is kind of a flex because it's like a pound of gold. So I still have to find a black watch, something not as much of a flash piece, even though it's brushed gold and it's got a black rubber strap that tones it down. But black shirts typically got the Cartier. You can spend 5 figures on front forks when you're full bore racing. I know, dude. The works suspension is ridiculous, dude. But man, it's so incredible, man. I mean, Olin's suspension, when it's tuned like that, is just, there's no mistaking it, man. You get on it and you're just like, oh, it's so good. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. What don't you like about Rocky Patel? The flavor. I've just never, and that they're kind of kitschy, cigars. I don't know if they're still that way, but they used to have all these really ornate boxes and really just kitschy stuff. I'm not into it. I'm into more brands that are just they're not trying to be flashy and all that. They're just a little bit more. These are really good. I just got a box of these Tatuaje Limited T110s. They're Corojo wrappers, so these smoke like a Cuban. I got these two, which these are Drew Estate that makes acid cigars. Gross. But they have the Liga Privada brand. And these are UF13s dark. And these are really tasty. These are yum Maduros. So they're like, whoops, like that. So these are really, really yummy and tasty, nice and chocolatey and leathery and full bodied, but not peppery. Those were good. And then I did get something that does have a Connecticut wrapper. These are not. These are Maduros. These are something that I just learned about. But this is a big daddy. The Tabernacle. Like these. These are big daddies, dude. This is a 2-hour cigar, So I haven't smoked one yet because that's a sit-down cigar. I typically smoke my stogies when I'm on my walk in the evenings, and that's a sit-down cigar. Now, this thing is one with a Connecticut wrapper that was really good. This is a My Father limited edition. These are like Connecticut wrapper, really tasty, yummy. But yeah, I gotta go into I smoked a wide Churchill, a Romeo and Julieta wide Churchill tonight. That was tasty. I nubbed it out. I got a little buzz on it, but typically Rockies, I'm just not into the flavor. Mola Mola has a nice remote, but I just use the phone app. Yeah, there you go. I talked to a guy today with a Mola Mola, and dude, he had some problems, man, and he had to send it back to Mola Mola. It was skipping. He had to send it back to Mola Mola in Canada, evidently, and get it repaired. And then it came back, and it was doing the same thing. He's got a nightmare story with his Tambaqui. You don't. It sounds like yours has worked good, but his has been problems. I haven't graduated to Maduro yet, sticking to mostly Connecticut's to start. Yeah, there you go, man. Maduros aren't that. There's what you want to do is smell them. They should be mellow and chocolatey. If they smell vinegary, those are going to have the bite. Those are gross. Typically, Dominicans will smell like that. Like I've got one here, and I think these are from Nika anyways. But they are these. Okay, so these are whatever Ave Marias. These things had that smell, man. I smelled them and I'm like, ooh, I don't think I'm going to like them. I can tell by the smell. Yeah. This smells like just burnt. It smells like it's pungent, bro. It's pungent. It just, and this is what the label looks like. So you can see Ave Maria. It's like who knows? I don't know. Something to do with Spanish Inquisition or some shit. But I just smell it and I'm like, oh, that sounds like it's going to be peppery with a big bite on it, and I don't know that I'm going to like it. But they come in nifty little coffins, so I can give them away as gifts. That's actually why I bought them, but I wanted to have a good cigar. I mean, I want to give people great cigars when I give gifts. Damn it. Sliding the band down. Anyways, but they come in a super cool presentation box. So I thought, well, these things will make great gifts. They come in and you put them in this little thing like that. Whatever. Yep. So, yes. Do I have any highfalutin ashtrays? No. Yeah, no. I've got one that I really dig. It's from the 60s. I can't remember the name of the design. But it's an art deco. Like basically they took a block of aluminum, they made a lid and a tray underneath it, and then on the top they ran a router this way, and this way, and then drilled holes. So just imagine, like 8 by 8 holes, big enough for a cigar to fit in, right? And then you route it with a router bit that's the same diameter as the drill hole, and it routes it through. So you end up getting this thing that has router lines and holes, and then these square not pyramids, but these square things that come up in between the holes. It's just a super cool design, and it's so basic to do on a CNC. Maybe they were poured. Mine actually looks poured, but you could do it really cool on a CNC. Maybe I should make one, Andrew. I know somebody with a CNC machine. Maybe I should make one. I'll put some fins around the edge. I'll make it in black. I'll do exactly what I just described to you. I could make a cool one, man. That would be fun, So are on the 570M, are the front woofers the same size as the side woofers? Yes. Yeah. They don't change anything. They don't change anything. It's the same exact size. What you have helps to fill the room better. Like if you have a bigger room, like Don, for instance, Don in his, big wide open room, the side woofers, they fill the room. They do a great job. I had the side woofers in my room. They were phenomenal, but I don't have them anywhere near a wall. And I'm pretty sure in your room, they're not near walls either. Yeah, I use an ashtray like that in Greece. Okay, you know the one I'm talking about. I thought about making my own too on my Bridgeport. I know, dude, that's a badass machine, dude. You're just total The Machinist. Remember that movie, The Machinist? And he operated one of those machines, man. Those things are just like dinosaurs, dude. They're so cool to me. They got all the crank wheels and shit, like, and just gnarly freaking torque motor, that can just like cut through anything, So intense. Any machinists out there watching? Audio Flight, Strumento, number 4 amp. Any experience with this piece? How does it sound? I don't know how it sounds because I've never had one, but I know people that have had it and they like it. Like I've heard from people that used it and said, this is a great amp. Now the people that I talked to that liked it, weren't necessarily, full bore audiophiles at the time that I talked with them when they had it, but I think they got them. I think aren't they are those monoblocks? Somehow audio flight Strumentos, if I'm not mistaken, were out in the marketplace for a fraction of their retail cost. And when you buy them like that, it's like a great purchase, So if you can find them like that and they're, half price or even less, I think this guy got like $20,000 monoblocks for like $6,000 or something, So I think they're good. I haven't heard anything bad about them, and not much for metalworking, but I can hand cut a respectable dovetail. Oh, hand cut. That's pretty cool with just a hand router. Dovetail. I love dovetail joints, man. How is the AGD from your video going to compare to my Roland Continuum with internal DAC? I have no idea, dude. I don't know. I know technically what's different, but I don't know how the sonic is. I really don't know. I don't know. I mean, if I was a guessing man, right? If I'm a betting man, I would say the Continuum I would guess the Continuum probably has a better preamp. Jeff is like full tilt balls preamp maker, right? So his DAC he hired out to a Danish guy who designed it for him. Jeff does not do digital design. It was a very good DAC and is a chip DAC. The AGD is R2R DAC, ladder DAC, and newer design. So that the volume control is better on the AGD. Because it's an analog volume control, but the digital volume control that is on your, now it's a Continuum. Okay, so the Continuum, I don't know. I'm thinking of what's the little one called? The Capri. I'm thinking of the Capri, man, not the Continuum. I don't know too much about the Continuum. That may have a analog volume control. Very, very likely. Hand saw and chisels. Wow. Hand planes and such. Dude, that's so cool. That's so awesome, man. A hand saw. Can you imagine that? Just tick, 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 tick. I used a chisel yesterday, man. I love chisels. Chisels are awesome, man. They're so great the way they pull wood apart. You know, you just tap out exactly what you want to remove, and bam, it's gone. And love chisels. They're such a proper tool for such a for such an exacting job. You know, hand plane looks cool. I've never played with those. But woodworking just seems like zen. Like I can see my mind just being like nice and peaceful, turn on some tunes in the wood shop and just like, you know, start turning shit or whatever, planing shit, or, you know, it's just working with your hand. The thing I like about woodworking is you're constantly, you're feeling with your hand, you know, how does it feel? Is it right? You know, and then you fix whatever you need to. And it's very tactile. You're very much using your hand. Which I don't quite think it's the same with metalwork. It's too hot to touch, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Maybe you do that with metalwork. I don't know. I've never machined anything, but I'm guessing it gets hotter than shit. You know, Volti American made horn speakers. That's right, Mark. Yep. We found that out. Hey, Mikey, have you noticed improvements to the soundstage depth and layering with higher end DACs? Well, absolutely. That's exactly what you get. You nailed it. You get depth and layering for sure. Cheap DACs are two-dimensional. It can sound good, you know, but when you listen to the stage, you know, you're getting left to right. It's two-dimensional. It's like a wall of sound, just like if you put a freaking piece of plywood, a 4x8 plywood in front of you, imagine that being sound. That's what cheap DACs sound like. And then a really good DAC is like I always say a pop-up book. Remember when you were kids and you'd flip the books that were pop-up books and then they lift up the little cardboard, you know, thing and the page goes all 3D on you, you know, that's what a good DAC does. And then a regular DAC is just like flipping the page of a book. It's all flat, but the good DACs, it's like a pop-up book. It's exactly what you get. You get layering and then you get tonal density. You get tonal variation. It's a word I'm looking for. You can hear differences in tone instead of just bass and no bass, right? And then there's the bass. It's like there's varying tones of bass, so you get different tonalities. And some is forward, like okay, let me give you a good example. Okay, so like if you're playing a piano, right, and if you press it lightly, it sounds a certain way. If you press it hard, you get a different sound completely. And if somebody's playing piano, you know, and they're varying the difference in how light they touch it, and then going to harder, and then going to lighter, and then going to fortissimo, or whatever the hell they call it. You can tell that a better DAC will relay that information. You'll hear the varying differences in dynamic shading. That's the word I'm looking for. You get dynamic shading where there's variations in dynamic. Whereas on a cheaper DAC, you'll hear just the piano will just sound like one sound of piano. It won't be a varying sound of piano. It will be just one sound. And then when they play harder, maybe it almost can sound like plinking, you know, and get a little glare. You know, but the higher end DACs sound natural. And that's the thing, man. You get, when you listen to them, it just sounds real. And that's the best way to describe it. It just sounds more real than a cheap DAC. A cheap DAC can sound good, have all the bass, highs, mids, whatever, but it just doesn't sound real. There's just something about it that you're listening to an audio system. When you get into the really good ones, you can close your eyes and it is nearly like you're closing your eyes at a real in a jazz club or something like that. It's very convincing and it's very layered and very deep and boundless. I know you're not a pipe guy, but have you heard of Meerschaum pipes? Yeah, they're funny, man. They're the big German ones that go all the way out, like big Flügelhorn. If not, you should look real quick. Hand carved in Turkey, and they're beautiful. Seems like something you'd like if you like pipes. I probably would, dude. We were watching last night. We were watching Inglorious Bastards, right? And remember when the first Nazi guy comes into the dude's house, and the Jews are in under the floor, right? And the Nazi guy's in there, and the farmer, asks, "Can I light my pipe?" So he says yes. The Nazi says yes, and he stuffs his little corn cob pipe, right? And he smokes out of his corn cob, and then the Nazi says, can I light? Do you mind if I light my pipe? And he says, sure, go ahead. And he pulls out this huge Meerschaum giant Flügelhorn, just this giant thing, opulent pipe. It's just, it made us laugh. We're like, oh God, of course he's going to pull something like that out. And so, yeah, so we were just talking about that. It's funny. I have not tried. I've not gone down the pipe thing because I have a hard time believing that is quality tobacco. It seems like it's floor sweepings, and maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe there is high grade shredded tobacco, but to me, it seems like cigars have whole leaf tobacco, and it's harder to keep it in a whole leaf, and it's more of a it's more rare. It's harder to make, whereas shredded tobacco, you can take any shit and throw it in the shredder and then, gum it up with some flavoring or whatever, and then throw it in a pipe. So I suppose I would try it just for the sake, because I've never tried it. But that my first feeling about it is, ooh, that's going to be floor sweepings, man. A carpenter would make great speakers. Yes, they do. Yeah, the cabinet makers, man. Woodworking is zen when things go right. I suppose. And Craig, I got to call you, brother. You called me today. I need to call you back. I'll call you after the live stream. I got busy today. Sorry. Otherwise, can be very frustrating. I'm sure. Yeah, just like anything. My buddy and I are. I'm mechanic. If anything, if I'm going to do a trade, it would be probably mechanic. And we, my buddy and I have this joke. Because we were working on his car one time, and we were trying to get, I don't know, the drivetrain. We were underneath the car trying to get something, probably the yoke out of the tranny or something like that. It was something, and there was a pin that we had to get out, man, and we could not get that fucking pin out. And we were hammering the shit out of it. We had the map gas on it, or whatever, trying to loosen this thing up. We were doing all sorts of shit. And so while we're doing it, he's like, we have this joke where we go fun again, where we go fun again, just like, here we go, fun again. It's something that's going to be a pain in the ass. And so when we were hammering that, he called it the fun again pin, so now that just blossomed into a thing. When there's anything that isn't working, we always call it the fun again pin. Like, oh, really? Oh, you got a fun again pin, huh? And then we know exactly what it is. It's that mofo of a thing that just will not come undone, will not, cooperate, And so, yeah, it is a great movie. I'd never seen it until last night, which is crazy that I'd never seen that. What happened was I got Inglorious Bastards mixed up with the Men Who Stare at Goats. And when I saw the trailer for Men Who Stare at Goats, I thought, stupid, I can't watch this. And then in my brain, I got it mixed up with Inglorious Bastards. So I never watched Inglorious Bastards because I thought maybe it was I thought it was Men Who Stare at Goats. So, and then we watched it last night. Charles, who's visiting, was like, dude, that's a really good movie. It's a great movie. And I was like, oh, cool. So we watched it and I was like, damn, that was a great movie, and really great camera angles and really great, Tarantino does a great job in many of his films, and it's so cool to see a film that's done well with just eye candy, man, and just the little things that are in the background, little offhanded things that if you pay attention, you're like, wow, they didn't miss a beat. It's pretty cool. Thanks for answering the question about DAC soundstage and layering. I've heard the same when comparing DACs, but you described it perfectly. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's easy to hear. Like it's really easy if you sit someone down and do the comparison. I've made a few for myself and racks. Hand tools are great, calming and high precision. I often spend a full day in the shop without power tools. That's really cool, man. That must be peaceful. That must be really peaceful. And are you a nautical guy? I see like what looks like a Navy ship or something on top of a pyramid. So is this sonar? Okay, so I see sonar. Are there dolphins? Nope. I see a Navy ship shooting sonar down, or I see a Navy ship with aliens underneath the water, which is where they hide, you know. Tell me about your Navy ship. Ball joint pin of front suspension, something like that, brother. Yeah, something. It was the fun again pin, man. We were hammering that bitch and just, man, it would not come out. And that thing became the fun again pin. I mean, we spent hours and hours on it. Finally, we got it, and I can't remember how we got it out. I can't remember what we did, but somehow we got it out. We hammered it enough or something. Carlos, I was a mechanic as a profession, gave up the trade after a few years. It's a pain in the arse and stressful doing it on a daily basis. Yeah, I couldn't do it as a job. You know, your hands are always, your knuckles are always busted up. And, you know, always, man, my fingernails always had dirt. I had always black fingernails and in my things, you know. I worked at a garage for a while. I wasn't a mechanic at the garage, but I was the tire boy. You know, I had to do all the tire changes and, yeah, so that was my job, in my 20s. But I like shops, man. I love a mechanic shop. I'm right at home there, dude. I can hang out, man. You know, I need contact info for your guy in Chicago. Okay, Ken, what, I've got a couple. What do you want to listen to? I've got, two guys. I'm thinking of three. Isn't there a third one? I've got two guys in Chicago. Both have Fisher and Fisher. One has 770. One has 570. Now, isn't there a third guy in Chicago? Andrew's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So yeah, Ken, just holler tomorrow, man, and I can give you the contact info. Exploring the deep in this mysterious world of hi-fi. Is that what it is, dude? He's up. He's got some top secret shit. Maple 200's top secret seaman with his sonar shooting down, finding aliens. Trades are noble work, but they beat up your body if you stay in it your whole career. Oh, for sure, Bo. I mean, absolutely. You get wrapped up, bad knees, bad back, all sorts of shit. And especially in any of the ones where you're inhaling chemicals, man. Oof. You know, Berryman Chem Tool, psh, all the benzene, inhaling that shit. Not good. Not good for old age. Okay, well, it's an hour. I think I'm going to call it. Andreas was going to join us. He's going to join us 1 week from today. Andreas Koch of Playback Designs. So all of you all, get your DAC questions together and any of your digital questions together, because this guy is granddaddy digital. He invented sample rate conversion. He started his career working at the tape machine company Studer, and he made their first digital gear. So this guy learned how to turn analog into digital. That's why his DACs are better than any others. So he's coming next week. But I will be back on Sunday for another edition of the Mikey Show. Yeah, so let's see. Look like Carlos has something. I just bought some higher grade power leads. Where you're in UK, man. Hopefully they are better than the black freebies set for amps and pre. They should be, man. Where are you in UK or Oz or where? I'm guessing. I'm just taking a wild guess. Anyways, but so that does it for tonight. If you want to know the name of the watch band place, just call me, man. I think it was, let's see,
Nope. Let's see. HBB Strat Moblo BB. Oh. Now, man, I'll have to find it for you. I was gonna see if I could find it real quick, but I didn't. Thanks for the show, UK. All right, man. Sweet, buddy. When was the last time? I want to know this. Do you eat bangers and mash? And if you do, when was the last time you ate it? Because I have it over here. We would think that you guys eat that all the time. I want to know, is that what you eat, or is that just bullshit? That's just British food and you eat Chinese food and all sorts of shit. See ya. Oh yeah. Andrew's trying to beat me to the see ya. I want to see if Carlos Gomez, the Spaniard from UK, can tell me if he eats bangers and mash. I've never had bangers and mash, but I like potatoes and I do like sausages. You know, I couldn't have them that much. Okay, I'm going to exit stage left. I was waiting on Carlos's answer, but it's not coming quick. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining. And I will see you guys Sunday. It's Wednesday. So I will see you all Sunday. See you.